George Clooney was one of the big donors to the March for Our Lives event that took place yesterday, and he penned a letter demanding only anti-gun kids should speak on stage, saying, "You make me proud of my country." Hollywood celebs and George Soros-funded organizations spent millions to pull off this anti-Second Amendment event. They banned one Parkland family whose daughter had been murdered from speaking at the march, and they immediately regretted it. Most of you will be familiar with Andrew Pollock. He is the dad of Meadow Pollock, who was gunned down by Nicholas Cruz at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School last month. Mr. Pollock first got the attention of the mainstream media for wearing a Trump 2020 t-shirt on the day of the shooting. It just happened to be the shirt that he wore on the worst day of his life, and the leftist media excoriated him. Later, Mr. Pollock traveled to the White House and attended the listening event put on by the president. He spoke passionately, breaking down in tears and saying, "My daughter has no voice. She was murdered last week. She was taken from us, shot 9 times on the 3rd floor." He's pro-gun for fixing the school issue. On Face the Nation, he said, "Let's focus on one thing first. Let's get our schools safe. And then after every school is safe in the country, that you could drop your kid off, and you don't have to worry that some murderer is going to go kill your kid on the 3rd floor." They could focus on any gun laws they want. Pollock is for making our schools hard targets, which means defending them as we would a military base. He sees these leftists crying about the National Rifle Association as wasting time, and I'm pretty sure he thinks they are nuts, but refrained from actual confrontations. He was doing his common-sense approach, while the rest of the leftist media darlings like David Hogg and Dama Gonzalez are on whirlwind media tours. Now, they have all clashed at the March for Our Lives event. George Clooney was one of the first sponsors of the event, donating $500,000. Clooney was working closely with the radical leftist organizers funded by various George Soros entities, like the Women's March. Mr. Pollock's son Hunter was on the list as one of the speakers, and at the very last minute, they were informed that he would not be allowed on stage. Breitbart reports Hunter Pollock, the brother of Meadow Pollock, who was shot and killed in the high school shooting in Parkland, Florida, says he was denied an opportunity to speak at the March for Our Lives in Washington, D.C. Andrew Pollock said they tried for 2 days to work with organizers for a chance to speak at the march, but that organizers denied the request. At first they told him yes, then it turned to no, Pollock told Breitbart News. They claimed no time. Andrew and his son Hunter gave the speech from their Washington, D.C. hotel room. Clooney's statement to the marchers said, "The fact that no adults will speak on the stage in D.C. is a powerful message to the world that if we can't do something about gun violence, then you will. This is nothing new, using kids as tools to confiscate guns, and that's the goal. We have background checks, we have laws about mentally ill people not obtaining firearms." The big lie from the left is somehow if Arkansas 15s are banned, school shootings will be stopped. Arkansas 15s shoot like any semi-automatic gun, pull the trigger and one bullet comes out. Arkansas does not stand for automatic rifle, it stands for Armalite rifle. If the Broward sheriff would have done his job, that shooting would not have happened. Contacted 39 times about Cruz, all he had to do was report him, and he would have been in the database on the no-purchase list. The law didn't work because the idiot leftist sheriff didn't follow through on purpose, adhering to an Obama-era plan to keep kids out of jail. Americans are fed up with the nonsense. They support the Pollacks and see right through the Hollywood celebs who are backing this radical leftist agenda to deny our Second Amendment rights. Andrew, Hunter and all Pollack family, you are loved all across this nation. Barred from speaking during march is obviously insane, tweeted Alex Callias. Suzanne Weege tweeted to the Pollacks, awesome young, he said what needed to be said, but the narrative was preset by haters and idiots. Parents, be proud that your child doesn't fit the kind of thinking and intolerance which prevented him from speaking is what is destroying our country and what caused Parkland. I couldn't watch the March for Our Lives, I knew it would make me so upset, and yelling at the TV doesn't do much good. The fix is basic common sense, knowing we cannot eradicate all evil, which is the utopia the left sells these ignorant kids. If our president and the celebrities have armed guards, it seems to me that more guns in the hands of qualified people is the way to go. It's what has worked in Israel, where they are surrounded by terrorists. Israel had to figure out how to protect their people, and they already have a model for schools that we should adopt. I am hoping these Parkland kids and their leftist handlers will be old news in a few weeks. It's time for them to go back to school and resume normal lives. This is not a kid's game, and George Clooney is loony believing spoiled fame-seeking kids will figure out how to fix mass shootings when last month they were swallowing Tide Pods on social media.